right, welcome back to Radio Row here in Dallas. The Packers and the other team. You're playing on Sunday. Looking forward to it. All right, you ready? Who am I? It's in the net. It's in the net. It's in the net. Former co-worker of yours. I must not do it very well.
It's
the great Dave Johnson.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's in the net.
Okay.
I don't have his basketball called out. Oh no, I do. Here it is.
What?
And the Wizards lose again.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah.
NFL Network.
Is DJ listening right now?
Yeah, right.
I'll give him a
Yeah, how you doing, Dave?
Yeah.
Welcome in. Scott Hanson, NFL Network. What's happening? You doing all right?
I am
nice
doing
weather
well.
you brought, by the way.
Yes, exactly. Everybody from the north came down here, and you folks from Baltimore, obviously we're on radio. They can't see it right now, but as you couldn't even say the name, Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm sorry, I have to say it. You've got a 20-foot Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh, I know. Drives us nuts.
Poster, statue, whatever that is, over your right shoulder. Tough to watch.
Don't even get us started. So what's happening in your life, man? You've done well for yourself. You made a nice move out of not that you didn't enjoy your time at Comcast, but you made a nice move for yourself.
There's a season for everything, you know, and I love my time in the D.C., Baltimore, Mid-Atlantic region. But the NFL came calling, and when the mothership lands in your backyard and makes you the offer you can't refuse, you got to go ahead and do it. So,
and you left it all there for Brett Harris to mop up.
He's got the yeoman's duty to do.
Hey, let's talk a little local stuff real quick, just to get, because I know you're still, if nothing else, interested or at least somewhat attached.
Yeah.
Can Ted fix the Wizards?
Hi.
And that's a pretty broad question. But
well, yeah. Oh, man. Well, I don't know if you were down here yet, but on, was it Monday they played down here?
Yeah, sure.
And it was just...
But
they're a mess
but can he fix it so that people care about it?
Yeah, if somebody had to be in charge of it, who better than Ted Leonsis? I mean, in that area, he's invested, he cares, he wants it to win, he's not afraid to spend money, he's going to try and spend it wisely, I think. He's got to get his right people, get the right people in the right places to do that.
It's amazing what's happened with the Caps. I mean, you were there at a time when
when the Caps were the Wizards.
Right.
When the Caps were the Wizards,
right.
It was like you couldn't give away tickets. Right. You couldn't, and now that place, I still watch Caps games. I catch an occasional one on TV, and even watch the HBO documentary involving the Penguins and the Capitals there, and to see the passion. But that hinged on hitting the jackpot in the lot. Did they do that with John Wall? Remains to be seen. A little bit tough that the best player, clearly the best player available when the Wizards did get that number one pick was a smaller guy, because usually a 6'5" under guy is not usually the dominant force that can lead a team.
And Ted wouldn't say this publicly, but it might hurt them a little that the Caps are so good. In other words, he's got such a bar to be able to take the Wizards up to, and who knows what the Caps are going to wind up doing this year.
From a fan standpoint, absolutely, and because if you've got whatever discretionary sports entertainment income you've got to spend, you can pick a Wizards game or a Caps game almost on back-to-back nights. And the Capitals, you're going to be able to tell your son or your daughter whoever you take to the game, there is the best, if not one of the best, if not the best player in the sport. That's a heck of a selling point.
How about that another team down there that plays in the winter? The football team. How about that? I know you're happy to, let me just leave it at that. But they are, I did say to someone yesterday, we were talking about the Redskins, and we were talking about all the teams. The NFC East is an interesting division because you can sort of go worst to first kind of quickly. You get the right mix.
All the time in divisions. Yeah. NFC East is a little tougher to do that in.
Obviously, the owner is a little polarizing.
Yeah.
But,
I do the pregnant pause because I'm thinking, what would I suggest if I had, if I was Dan Snyder? What would I suggest?
What would you say? Right.
Man, I might.
Obviously, the way they've done it hasn't worked. I mean, in all fairness,
no,
it hasn't worked.
No.
Yeah.
I try to identify.
Although I think Shanahan was a good way to maybe start to do it.
It's unbelievable. It's mind-boggling, and we on NFL we talk about this like we're doing wall-to-wall Steelers Packers coverage, and yet in terms of we slip in occasionally another drama from around the NFL. The first one we brought up in the Super Bowl was Shanahan and McNabb. As to how that thing slipped away and how that thing got to that point.
You would have always thought, Scott. I'm glad you brought that up.
Some people say that Kyle is giving too much power, and that Kyle is not my words. Someone here at Super Bowl Week told me Kyle is running amok with that team. He's getting too much power and control, and players are like, wait a minute, you're not the head coach. Yeah, right. You know, you're the boss's son. Right. You know, and that's not to deprecate Kyle. I'm just saying this is what people have been telling me. I'm not in there day to day, but if there's a thought like that, that can definitely be polarizing in a locker room.
You almost would have thought, though, that Shanahan and Donovan could have gone to lunch and sort of did the man-to-man thing and said, look, if anybody's going to fix it, it's going to be the two of us. Rockstar quarterback, two-time champion coach. Look, we can fix this thing, Donovan, but you and I got to be on the same page. It almost looks like they did the exact opposite.
It takes two people to do that,
yeah,
right?
Sure.
And I know Mike a bit. I know Donovan pretty well. I'm a former Syracuse football player myself. I'm older than Donovan.
Right.
I mean, we have mutual friends who are very close to each one of us. I've known Donovan through my experiences in the media. I get to see him occasionally. We have the Syracuse thing in common. He's a pro, and he's a man, and he has an ego. Okay, not out of control ego, but he's made his way in the NFL. He wants his respect, and people throw that out in the news conference. That word respect. It really is true. It really does mean something beyond just the financial apologies that he's received in the past and whatnot. And he's obviously disrespectful where I think that's it's a divorce that has to happen. And he'll go on to Arizona. He'll go on to Minnesota. He'll go on wherever. And then where's Shanahan going to go for his play? Somebody suggested, in fact, it was Steve Mariucci, my NFL Network colleague. You guys all know him. Mariucci said, do not, and Mariucci's very close with Andy Reid. And Mariucci said, he's not saying I have any inside information. He says, do not be surprised if they go out and make another trade with the Philadelphia Eagles to get their quarterback.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but you just think that people, I mean, look at it, worked out real well for the Eagles. They moved on from Donovan McNabb with a guy who,
10 weeks in, he might have been the MVP of the league.
And they were taking a huge risk anytime you make a trade in the division. A trade in the division at the quarterback position with a guy who had tremendous success. Right. They were really rolling the dice. And then, of course, going with Cobb and Vic at the time, they didn't know Vic was going to be the So Cobb is allegedly on the market. And just the other day, Mariucci told me, do not be surprised if they don't at least make that phone call.
Yeah, right. You know, one of the things that's interesting, too, is this in this day and age of the NFL, I'm not downplaying the X's and the O's because all these guys, right now, LeBeau and Capers are sitting somewhere, figuring out how my side of the ball is going to win the game for my team. So I'm not downplaying the X's and O's. So much of this coaching these days is something you mentioned before about these fragmented relationships. And once they split, are they worth recovering or are they dead? And how do you do it? And these coaches, you almost have to have a doctorate. I mean, look in personal relationship.
Look, AFC and NFC, who are considered to be the most successful coaches, and now I think after Fisher's departure from Tennessee, they're the two longest in each conference tenured coaches. Andy Reid, Bill Belichick. What's one of the things that they do is either one of those guys in the media, they're two of the more boring men you can ever possibly hear from, and they do that on purpose. Oh, sure. They're not known to be fire and brimstone motivators. They are excellent tacticians, but then they do exactly what you just said. They know, he's going to quote a Kenny Rogers song right now, know when to hold them, know when to fold them. They know when to move on from a veteran, even if it's one season before, because they get value from guys in return. And they've ruffled some feathers before. Ty Law, Rodney Harrison, Seymour, guys that have left the New England Patriots. They say, I can still play. Why Willie McGinnis, guys like that. And they might go have a season. They might go have 2 seasons somewhere else. But Belichick knows when to let it go. And he knows when to keep him on board. I mean, this guy managed Randy Moss for about as long as Randy Moss had been possibly managed. And then he knew exactly when it was time to let go. And people said, you trade Randy Moss in the middle of the season? What's your offense going to become? And look exactly what happened. Their offense was still terrific. Tom Brady pulling the trigger there. And then Randy Moss goes and implodes in Minnesota and did nothing.
I thought the most telling thing about the whole Randy Moss departure was when he came back to play. And they got him in the press conference afterwards, and this was his one shot. This was his shot to really stick it to, even though they had lost the game, this was his shot to say something to Belichick, to get on the front page of the paper. This was his chance. And he said, And I love you guys here, man. I miss you guys. Coach, I miss you. Like, that really was a telling statement to me that even Moss said, you know what, I can't mess with this guy.
You can penetrate that psyche to the point where he would say something respectful like that and kind of fondly remembering his time. That states volumes.
What do you?
We'll see if Shanahan can do that.
Before I let you run, what do you have going on this week? What's going on? What are you doing?
Well, I am.
I know there's a game.
There is a game. I'll be doing. You know, one of the biggest features of Cowboys Stadium, of course, is the huge $40 million Godzillatron that's suspended above the roof there. I'm doing the pregame show that's going to go on that on the jumbotron. So, of course, if I get a pimple on Saturday night, it's going to be the size of a dinner plate in HD in front of 105,000 people, all the dignitaries and everything. But that's one of my duties. I'm going over to the convention center. Here's the media center, but the convention center is the NFL experience. They had to move that indoors, where fans can come and kick field goals and stuff like that. And NFL Network has a set built up there. I'll be talking ball with, I think I got Warren Sapp and Kurt Warrington.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. This is our market, but you're off doing your thing.
Hi to everyone back in the Mid-Atlantic region. Stay warm, stay safe, everybody, and a special shout-out to Dave Jones.
Good stuff. Thanks, Scott. The great Scott Hanson with us from the NFL Network. We'll come right back in here at Radio Row. Don't go anywhere. Plenty more for you right after this.
Thanks, Brent.
You guys are pros. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
So
Have a good rest of the
really
week.
appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks, Scott.